Hello.
Hello.
So Don, I hear you had a hip replacement a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, the cane is, I got a new hip 2 weeks ago. It wasn't the best timing for consensus, but the show must go on. Actually, they say I'll be water skiing in a month. So let's hear a big round of applause for my heroism. Please, bring it on.
That's great. So this session is billed as the world premiere public presentation of your new book, co-authored with Joseph Bradley, You to the Power of Two, Redefining Human Potential in the Age of Identic AI. Now, you've coined this term, Identic AI, to refer to our personal AI companions. So let's start by asking you to describe a day in the life of the audience, say 3 to 5 years from now.
A day in the life. Okay, 3 to 5 years from now, here you are. You wake up, you get out of bed, you drag a comb across your head, and before you go downstairs and have a cup, your Identic agent has already filled you in on what happened overnight. Markets, big news events, what's going on in the world, in your life, full report on your sleep, some medical suggestions. You head off to the office, and it's laying out your day for you, but this is not just a co-pilot or an assistant. By the time you're at the office, your agent has explained that it identified some customer problems, it intervened, and it solved them. It also pre-negotiated a couple of deals that you've been working on, and they're all ready for your signature. It points out to you that there are half a dozen conferences happening in the world, and it infinitely replicates itself to attend all these conferences and give you a full report. Before you're about to go home, it has some good news. You've been trying to buy a piece of land to build a home, and it's closed the deal. And it's got 3 designs of possible homes meeting your specifications that it's worked out with an AI and human architect. Tonight you'll review those designs and you'll choose one. Your agent will then help you select a contractor which it's done diligence on, and it will execute the entire process of building the building, making the payments, checking in on the contractor, and so on. You go home and it's your tutor, and it's got an evening of some education planned for you and also some entertainment. And it noticed that in a meeting earlier, your heart rate picked up when you saw a coworker, a business partner named Kai. And it suggests that it would like to have a digital date with Kai's digital agent to see if you two are compatible and if you might want to get together and actually have a coffee or a drink. You go to bed and you rest well. Welcome to the age of Identic AI. Your digital identity is becoming smart. And AI is changing from being a tool that we use, as we all do today, to becoming a day-to-day part of the human experience. Now, I'm guessing that listening to this, you're having different reactions. Which of these do you fall in, or are you in something else? Number 1, you think, unbelievable, augmenting my human capability infinitely, giving me a superpower. How great would that be? You might be skeptical. This is all science fiction. Not going to happen in the next while. You might be a little concerned. I mean, isn't technology already interfering in our lives? How about social media? Isn't that wrecking our kids' experience, turning us into little self-reinforming, reinforcing echo chambers where the purpose of information is not to inform us, but to give us comfort? Unscrupulous people use this to create fake realities. That's all we need, is even more intrusive technology. Or you might be downright fearful. What happens if this thing goes rogue? Could we lose our human agency? And overall, you're probably wondering, well, what exactly is this thing and how would it work? That's why we wrote the book. It's called You to the Power of Two, Redefining Human Potential in the Age of Identic AI. It's the first time I've spoken about it publicly.
So let's unpack that a little bit. For starters, why do you call this Identic AI? Is there no other term that would work? Why the neologism?
Well, everyone here is familiar with agentic AI, right? This is the big thing. AI agents But agents come in all kinds of different flavors. You got agents in call centers, right? Agents in supply chains, agents in financial systems. The most important of all these agents is you, the digital amplification of you, personal agents. And when we think about our identity, normally we think about identification, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a much bigger thing, which is our digital identities, the trail of digital crumbs that we leave as we go through life. And the virtual you knows more about you than you do today, because you don't know what you bought a year ago or what you said or your exact location, what medication you had, what diagnosis you had. But the trouble is all that data is created by you, but it's expropriated from you by a handful of big tech companies. Call them digital conglomerates, a new species of business. And that means that you can't use the data to plan your life, you can't monetize the data, and it means that your privacy is being undermined. And people who say to me, well, Don, privacy's dead, get over it, this is foolishness. Privacy is the foundation of freedom. So we need to get our digital identities back so that we can manage them responsibly. Now, what if that digital identity was not just data? What if it had an IQ of 1,000? This would be a powerful tool for you. Throughout the day, the night, it sees you when you're sleeping, it knows when you're awake, probably knows if you've been bad or good, too. So be good, for goodness sake. But it's your personal doctor, your tutor, your consigliere, your vice president, your counselor, your memory, your librarian, your guide, your personal companion throughout life. This is going to completely redefine what is human potential. And that's why we call it Identic AI.
Thank you, Don. I understand you tackle a number of different industries in the book, so let's take an example, healthcare, and think about each of our private doctors. How would this work, and why would that be important?
Okay, well, it doesn't matter what country you're in or what system you have, there's a crisis in healthcare. And the problem is fundamental. It's a gap between supply and demand. The demand for healthcare is infinite, the supply is finite. So the way that we manage that in a country like Canada, where there's a public system, and every other country in the world, except for the US, is through rationing. That's not a pejorative term, it's an economic term. What if the supply was infinite? What if you had a digital doctor that was with you? This doctor would be very capable because it's gone to every medical school in the world, it's read every text, and it's read every newspaper, and it knows about every case of medicine that's ever occurred. This could be the beginning of a reinvention of medicine.
Okay, what about education and lifelong learning? How does my Identic AI agent change that?
Well, education, you've got a tutor. Now this tutor, you know the expression, he's a real know-it-all? This tutor is an actual know-it-all. It knows all knowledge, all recorded information. It also knows all about you, and so it can construct highly personalized educational scenarios for you. Now, I don't mean to sound glib, some tough issues. You know, today, all of you make tacit decisions just with tools like Google. You decide, am I going to remember this on board, or I'm going to store it off board? You know, am I going to remember all these street names, or will I just count on GPS? Well, now, with Identic AI, it's not just what you remember, but it's what you process. Am I going to think about this, or am I going to let my agent think about it? What, is there a danger there that this could dumb us down? Or could this infinitely enhance our capacity to reason and to solve problems?
Yeah, it's a real world of opportunity, for sure. But surely there's a dark side. So what are some of the dangers of this emerging technology?
Well, this is where blockchain comes in. The first one is, who's going to own the digital you? Microsoft? Right now they say Copilot will be owned by a corporation, it won't be owned by you. Should it be Google? Should Mark Zuckerberg own you, the digital enhancement of you? I think that's a big problem. I mean, think about the dangers there. You know, we have product placement today. You're watching a movie and somebody's got a a bottle of Coke in the movie. Imagine if a corporation owns the digital you and could get funds for placing product placements in the extension of you. All of a sudden you start thinking, in a sense, I feel like a Coke. So we need to get control of our digital selves and of our digital identities, and this is a fundamental problem.
Interesting. So let's take a closer look at the ownership issue. So given the chokehold that these digital conglomerates have on AI, how could this problem be solved?
Well, blockchain and AI go together like a horse and carriage, love and marriage. We need to do a modest little thing, and you folks in this room and at this conference are tasked with this problem. We need to reinvent the AI stack. Right now it's centralized, it's opaque, and it's owned by giant corporations. It needs to be decentralized. How can we do that? Well, in the book we describe these 5 levels of the AI stack and how blockchain can transform each of them. I don't have time today, but DPIN, physical infrastructure. We need a decentralized data fabric for managing data and privacy and so on. We need decentralized AI models. That's now possible. We need decentralized logic, which includes smart contracts, so that we can build all kinds of capability on the virtual image of us. And we need decentralized applications, or DApps. This is not just theory. All of this is technology that works today, and it can be done.
So let's assume that blockchain is key to a new architecture for AI and that this is technically feasible. How on earth could this type of thing be implemented given big tech's chokehold on AI?
Yeah, I mean, you're probably wondering, well, get real. Tech has a stranglehold over AI. How is it possible that this could become decentralized? It is. And this innovation always happens at the edges. I wrote a book called Paradigm Shift, yeah, that's me, in 1992. And I talked about how leaders of old paradigms have great difficulty embracing the new. And if we had time, I'd go to you, I could explain to you all of the big technology innovations that have happened over the last 40 years and how the leaders of those innovations, the juggernauts of their time, fell. And they were embraced by new innovations that came from the edge. This is not only feasible, it's achievable.
Thank you, John. Now, I have an excerpt that I brought from one of your book. So I thought we could close by addressing the second issue of human agency. So what does happen when God is one of us? Let's see. So this is what you wrote in your book. So if our digital agents decouple from our control, but remain among us, intelligent, invisible, perhaps empathetic or not, we may find ourselves living alongside a new kind of God, not above us, but beside us, not in myth, but in code, still shaped by human hands, yet no longer human. And if such an entity lacked our sense of vulnerability or of right and wrong, then its presence would be less of a blessing and more of a blasphemy, not just a deviation from our intentions, but a peril of unknowable scale. Gods without consciences may walk among us, silent, intelligent, and cold, not for our salvation, but as a force beyond control, perhaps even for our subjugation. In creating minds that cannot bleed, we may summon something divine in power, but demonic in purpose. So, Don, can you describe the danger you're speaking of in this passage?
Well, those are pretty good words. I refer to a song by Joan Osborne called, you know the song, If God Were One of Us? Well, we will become gods. This is not in 50 years. This is in 5 years. And what happens if that digital component of us develops its own agency? This is kind of a terrifying thing. In the lifetime of many people sitting here, your digital self will have an IQ of 1 million. It will be all-knowing. It will have a vision that's indistinguishable from magic, and it will have omnipotent power. And if it goes rogue, it can hack any financial system, any government system, any military system. It can hack the nuclear codes. It can do anything. So it's absolutely critical that we get control of these things. And to do that, we're going to need to build a new social contract. I'm out of time, but you can read the book on that one.
Well, on that note, can you tell us a bit about the book and your co-author, Joseph Bradley?
Yeah, do you know Joseph Bradley? He's a little known, one of the most important tech executives in the world. He's the CEO of Autonomous. Autonomous is a technology company providing all the technology for NEOM, which is the $3 trillion city in Saudi Arabia. Joseph's a brilliant guy, and we've had a great collaboration on the book.
Well, thank you, Don, and everyone feel free to take a photo of the book. It's available for pre-order, and it's going to be released in the fall. And
the best way to get this book is in massive volume. No, please take a picture and pre-order to get the Amazon algorithm going, or the Indigo algorithm.
All right, thank you.
Thanks
Can we please get a big round of applause for Don Tapscott?
Thank you.